In the endless white expanse of the Arctic tundra, a young fairy named Alara embarked on a dangerous journey to find the elusive starblossom, a magical flower said to possess the power to heal any ailment and grant immortality. Guided by whispers of ancient magic, Alara braved the bitter winds and the cold, her wings shimmering against the stark snow-covered landscape. She knew that the flower was hidden in the heart of the frozen wasteland, a place no fairy had ventured before. But Alara was driven by a desperate need to save her people, whose lives were fading due to a mysterious plague that no healer could cure. As she ventured deeper into the tundra, the air grew colder, the wind howling like a wolf. Alara's wings fluttered weakly against the relentless cold, her strength beginning to fade. Just as despair began to settle in, a low growl echoed through the frozen silence. Startled, she turned and saw a majestic creature emerging from the shadows, a massive wolf, its fur as white as the snow, its eyes glowing with a strange, otherworldly light. The wolf moved closer, its gaze fixed on her with an intensity that sent shivers down her spine. But there was something different about this creature, a presence that seemed both ancient and regal. Without warning, the wolf stepped forward, transforming before her eyes into a tall, handsome man. His hair was as white as his fur, and his eyes gleamed with the same icy light. "I am Kale," the Ice Wolf King introduced himself, his voice like the rumble of distant thunder. "You are far from your home, little fairy. What brings you to the lands of the eternal winter?" Alara, her heart racing, explained her mission, to find the starblossom and save her people. Kale listened intently, his gaze softening with each word. He recognized the desperation in her voice, a kindred longing that mirrored his own. Though they came from different worlds, he, the ruler of the frozen lands, and she, a fairy of the vibrant forests, the connection between them was undeniable. Kale guided Alara through the icy terrain, showing her paths that no human or fairy could have discovered on their own. His presence was like a shield against the biting cold, and as they spent more time together, Alara began to see past the harsh exterior of the Ice Wolf King. Beneath his regal demeanor, she discovered a heart full of sorrow, a king bound by duty, cursed to rule over a land where warmth and life were foreign. Over time, the bond between them deepened, their shared solitude turning into an undeniable attraction. They laughed and talked long into the night, Alara's laughter like music in the stillness of the tundra, Kale's voice like a whisper carried by the wind. One evening, under a sky painted with the northern lights, they shared their first kiss, a tender connection that felt as ancient as the stars themselves. But as their love blossomed, so too did the complications. Alara soon realized that she was pregnant with Kale's child, a blessing and a curse in one. She had never expected this, never imagined that her love for the Ice Wolf King could result in a life being created. Her joy was tempered by fear as she learned of a prophecy that had long been whispered among the fairy elders. The child born from the union of winter and the fairy realm would be destined to rule both the winter lands and fairyland itself. The implications of this prophecy were enormous. The balance between the two realms had been maintained for centuries, with the fairies of the forest and the creatures of the tundra existing in separate worlds. The idea of one being ruling both lands would shatter that fragile peace. For Alara, this was a moment of great joy but also of great trepidation. Her child was to be the ruler of two worlds, but at what cost? Kale, too, faced his own dilemmas. Though he longed for peace between the realms, he knew that his position as the Ice Wolf King was not one to be taken lightly. His people, the wolves of the tundra, had long thrived in isolation, untouched by the politics of the fairy world. To unite the two realms would require a shift in power, and Kale was uncertain whether his people would accept a fairy child as their ruler. And worse still, the ancient gods who ruled the Arctic had warned him against such a union, one that could tip the balance of both worlds. As the months passed and Alara's pregnancy neared its end, tensions began to rise. The fairy realm, once peaceful and harmonious, became divided over the unborn child. Some saw the child as a beacon of hope, a new ruler who could bring unity and peace. Others saw it as a threat to their power, a force that could upset the delicate order of their world. Similarly, Kale's kingdom was not without its own unrest. His loyal followers, the Ice Wolves, feared the merging of their icy domain with the warmth of fairyland. The cold of their realm had been a symbol of strength, and they resented the idea of sharing it with those who thrived in the warmth of the sun. Alara and Kale stood at the crossroads of destiny, torn between the love they shared and the duty they owed to their people. Their love had brought them together, but it was also pulling them apart. With each passing day, they felt the weight of the world bearing down on them. Their child's birth would not only shape their futures but the future of both their realms. In a final, desperate attempt to break the prophecy, Alara and Kale sought the guidance of an ancient oracle, a being who had witnessed the rise and fall of many kingdoms. The oracle spoke in riddles, offering them a single choice: your love can save or destroy. Only the heart of the child will decide. Alara and Kale returned to the tundra, standing side by side as they faced the future together. Their love was their strength, but it was also their burden. As the child's birth approached, they knew that the coming days would change everything, either bringing unity or tearing their worlds apart. In the end, when their child was born, a girl with hair as white as snow and wings that shimmered like the stars, the balance between the realms would be forever altered. The child's heart, pure and filled with both winter's cold and fairyland's warmth, would become the key to a new world, a world where love and power could coexist, but only through sacrifice. As the realms of winter and fairyland united, Alara and Kale stood by their daughter's side, knowing that their love had created a new future, one where the boundaries between realms no longer existed. Their child, the ruler of both worlds, brought peace where there had once been division, and together, the family ruled with a wisdom forged in love and sacrifice.